I ordered 5 of these windows from Home Depot. They have $50 free shipping. It's a 32-inch by 16-inch window approximately, and they're double pane, vinyl, and it comes with a removable screen. Pretty good deal. It's probably over $100 to get a decent window, so it's definitely, if you can make these fit, I highly recommend giving it a shot. They come with nailing flange for new construction, but you can zip these off with a razor real easy. You just score a line and snap right off. In my case, I had the perfect width, but this window's a little too short for what I needed, so I zipped off the nailing flange off the top, zipped them off on the sides, maybe left like 1/8 of an inch on each side, and I left the one on the bottom. So to install it, you can take this window right out of here. There's on the hinges you can take a little tiny this piece right here pulls off, and you can pull this glass right out of here, which can be handy for if you need to load things into your basement. You take the screen out, take the window out, you have a big opening, you can load things in pretty easily. So once you have this out of the way, it's easier to install the frame. So what I did was I put 3-inch screws straight up through through the top to go into the sill plate, and gives you a really strong start. You can make sure it's centered, make sure it's level, and also put a nice bead of silicone across the top. So when you screw this thing in, you're just squishing that nice big bead of silicone. That's going to give you airtight, watertight, and of course you can put more. You want to put more of a silicone on the seal after the fact, but that's a good starting point. Next thing, I drill through the side with a hammer drill or a rotary hammer directly into the masonry, and then put a couple of Tapcons in on each side. That'll give you a really strong grip, make this frame secure. And then what I like to do once I've got that, what I decided I needed to do to fill my gap on the bottom was use concrete. And I don't mean concrete as in an aggregate. I actually used more of a mortar. But depending on the size of your gap, you can use concrete and then fill in the fine details with a mortar. And I didn't just use any mortar. I wanted to use this is a vinyl concrete patcher you can get at Home Depot. 40 pounds, I think it's $15. You're probably paying 5 times the price of concrete, but this stuff is designed to stick to old concrete, and it's a real fine consistency, so you can use it to make the fine details so that when you mortar this in, it looks professional. You put some blue tape on your window, and then kind of just press that concrete into the gaps, and then peel that tape off. You get a nice straight line. It looks really good. And then I put a form in the front, and I poured the concrete, and I did use concrete on some of them, but I used patcher to kind of finish it up. But I had pretty good sized gaps, so I filled those in with the concrete, and then basically I'll show you how it came out. Maybe see better without this light actually. I painted the outside of this wall with waterproofing paint, but I haven't painted inside the sills. But you can see you got a nice straight line. It's watertight, airtight. On the outside, there's actually like a little bit of a lip below here, so it kind of falls in, and I tried to make it smooth so that water would just come right off of that lip on the outside. You can see how this window opens nice and wide. The screen comes out easy. You have to just put those 2 tabs down in the corner, and you can pull that screen right out. Nice and secure, double paned. These are R2 U.5, which is not phenomenal, but it's certainly a lot better than what I had, which was metal frame, single pane, broken glass, no screens or ruined screens, rusty, possibly a place that mice could get through. So bugs could have got through, snakes even. So I got a lot of that stuff fixed. I mean, all those frames I pulled out were in rough shape. One of them in particular was really bad. Once I got those sealed up, I see a lot less of bugs and vermin getting in. So that's a nice benefit to getting these new windows. It looks a lot better from the outside. Definitely good for resale value, good for energy savings. And I think I replaced all 5 of my windows. It was $250 shipped. I've done 4 out of 5 actually. This one has to be installed in the spring. It's going to be a tricky one. Honestly, it took me about 3 to 4 hours to install one of these windows on my first one. Then I did a pair of them on another day. It probably took me 2 hours per window because of all the concrete work and gathering of tools and whatnot. So it's not a really super quick project, but it's well worth the time and the trouble. From the outside, you can kind of see the lip a little better. This one is probably the roughest looking one, and he's got some snow and ice all over it, so it's kind of hard to see, but the water can kind of fall down in this gap, and it looks reasonably. I think I still have to put my silicone bead across the top here, so I didn't take my tape off yet, but you put some blue tape on there, you can squirt silicone right across that line, and once you peel your tape off, it looks much better, and your line will look nice and straight, and it'll be airtight, watertight, cuts down on sound, all that stuff. This one is visible from the driveway, so I tried to make it look as good as I could. There's a nice smooth transition to the lip here, and as you can see, there's not a lot of distance from grade, so if we have some water, and say we had like a big snow melt, it's going to rise up an inch here, and you have another 2 inches here, another inch here. After that, water can get in. When you install these, you have to make sure to leave these little weep holes open, so if water does get into the frame on the outside, it can weep right back out here.